with Tamela. Let's laugh and spread love. Tea with Tamela. You're more than enough. Tea with Tamela. Don't ever give up. Tea with Tamela. Come and fill your cup. Tea with Tamela.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Tea with Tamela, where we sit down over a warm cup of tea and we're talking all things faith, family, food, football, and everyday moments in between. If you're new here, I'm your host, Tamela. Thank you guys for joining me. Super, super thrilled to have you guys on this episode because last week we got an opportunity to really talk about skincare, different regimens that we should create, what we don't need, what we do need, what are some misconceptions. And so, to follow up on that, I think there's like a lot of just chatter around Botox, fillers, laser treatments, all these other additional skincare things that you can add to your routine. So we're following up by bringing in my girl Sophie.
Hi.
Sophie, thank you for joining me.
Tamela, thank you for having me.
I'm so thrilled to have you here. So Sophie is here, and she's also from Karee Hayes, which is, I told y'all, I love all the girls at Karee. Some of them I use, some of them I don't, but it's just like a warm and fun environment. And it doesn't feel like, the want, like just going to
That is so
get
true.
a quick skincare treatment.
Yeah,
So it's
they
very
care.
relaxing. It's care, I feel like it's care for the skin, the mind,
Yeah.
the body, the soul, all things happening in that environment. And so we have Sophie here, who is just a joy, just a joy, and a nurse practitioner.
Mhm.
And so you've had quite the journey of getting to like this whole skincare thing. So
Yes.
share a little bit about that.
So I actually started as a pediatric cardiology nurse. I did that for 4 years, and I knew I wanted to get into aesthetics because during my summer breaks in college, I worked for a med spa actually in Jackson, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I knew I loved that world, but I was like, I need to be a nurse first, work in the hospital,
Yeah.
get that experience, and then I was like, okay, it's time. So I moved to Houston and worked for a amazing plastic surgeon there. He was amazing, part of my, step into this world, and he got me trained, and the rest is history. And now I'm in Nashville.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you knew you wanted to, so you went to school,
Mm-hmm.
nursing, you knew you wanted to climb, like the ladder there,
Yeah.
but you also knew that there was another side. And I think
Yes.
sometimes people aren't aware that there's
That's
another side to nursing and
Mhm.
there's a field in the aesthetic part of it.
Yeah.
So how did you like get introduced to it to even know
Yeah.
like, oh, this is an option and I
Yeah.
don't just have to work at a hospital?
Yeah, I would say that med spa when I kind of worked for that doctor in Jackson, I
Mhm.
knew that Botox was an option because she did it every day. I would watch a little bit, help her assist. I worked the front desk,
Mhm.
did inventory, that kind of thing. But I knew watching her that I was like, okay, I need to do this. And so I
Mhm.
actually called her when I graduated in P school. And
Yeah.
I was like, hey, how do I get into this field? What do
Yeah.
I do? And she was like, you need to find a plastic surgeon and go work for them and get trained and just watch as many surgeries as you can so you
Yeah.
can see the anatomy firsthand.
Right.
So that was cool to be able to see all the muscles and vessels and all
Mhm.
that during a facelift. So, yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between, I guess, working with a plastic
Mhm.
surgeon and then working in a med spa? Are you like in
Yeah.
surgeries when you're with the plastic surgeon or
Yeah.
sometimes do they do both and?
So both. So really when I was in Houston, it's crazy. Next year it'll be almost a decade. So that's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. COVID and everything made everything fly. So it doesn't feel that long.
You
but
forget a lot. It's like
Yeah.
a blur. Those years are kind of like
it
a
is
blur.
crazy. But yeah, I would do both. So basically I was training as a new injector, and anytime I wouldn't have a patient or spare time, I would go
Mm-hmm.
watch the surgery. So that was cool. It was like a, second training because I'm
Wow.
getting quizzed on muscles and
Mhm.
what is this or what is that? And it was just amazing. So
Yeah.
I feel like I owe that part of my training. I owe a big thank you to that. So
Wow.
because they really did. It helped.
It
a
helped a
lot.
ton.
Yeah.
It's good how you're able to like look back and reflect on life
Mhm.
and how each lived experience kind of adds to the journey and how it kind of like shapes and mold
Mhm.
like what you get to live out on a
Mhm.
daily. And so it's cool to see like where you started,
Yeah.
where you were able to identify like, oh, this is something of interest, and then
Yeah.
take that step to go and get the
Mhm.
training and really see behind the scenes of what it looks like to boost your
Yes.
confidence and your desire to move into that space.
Yes, that is so well said. That's exactly how it is.
So how'd you end up here in
Yeah.
Nashville?
So I actually, COVID happened, and then I moved back to Tennessee because I'm from here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that whole time, was so crazy.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know what was happening. So I moved back here and lived in Memphis for a while, and then moved to Nashville in 2021. So
Okay.
yeah, so I lived in Memphis probably for a year during COVID, and then moved here, and then I've been at Karee Hayes since then. So yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
I know.
So speak a little bit about Karee Hayes. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you end up there? What does that? Kendall gave us a little bit of how she ended up there. So how did you select Karee Hayes out of all the different?
So I actually got, crazy enough, I got a job offer in Cool Springs.
Mhm.
So I was working at a clinic there, and I had been there for like 3 months, I think, and it was fine. But I had a dear friend of mine reach out, and I'm so thankful to her to this day, tell me about Karee's office and that she was looking for an injector.
Mhm.
And I was new to the other job, so I'm like, oh no, I can't be a job hopper.
Right.
Like I just got here. What do
Right.
I do? Like,
Yeah.
and so I ended up going and interviewing with Karee, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, she's amazing.
She
And
is.
her staff is amazing. I mean, I think Ashley was the first person that I met when I was walking into my interview, and she's just a ball of joy as well.
Yep.
Kendall and Ashley have been working there for a while together, so
Yep.
they both are amazing. Then I met Kendall, and everybody there, Missy, everybody, Vicky, they all are just, you've probably seen half
That's
of
what
them.
I'm like.
Yeah.
I see people and I'm like, it's the energy of the place.
Yes.
I'm like, I've never laid on your
Yes.
table one day, but I'm like, the energy that everybody
Yes.
possesses when you walk in, it's
Absolutely.
just different from other med spas,
Yes.
other little clinics who, whether they're doing facials or injectable, whatever it
Yes.
is. So it's like, speak to like the culture of what Karee's been able to just really cultivate and like set herself apart from other people in the industry.
So she hires people with integrity, in my opinion, and I feel like that is huge because you can
Really
be
big.
the smartest person in the world and have
No integrity.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
And yeah, I feel like everybody I work with, I would trust any of my family to go see. I would trust them. Like, I mean, there's others that I didn't even mention. Anna Kate, Taylor, those are all amazing providers.
Yeah.
And I mean, every single person that works there knows their stuff, and they
Yeah.
can pull a skincare product off the shelf and read the ingredients and know exactly
Right.
what this is and what and why, even in chemicals and stuff that you wouldn't even know. It's like, okay, well, that's not a harmful one because of this. It's just an oil-based thing.
Right.
And stuff like that people don't really think about, that if you know those things, then you can really educate your clients.
Yep. Yep. And like, even the girls, I think about the girls who are at the front, like they know their stuff and they're not, so
that
it's
is so true.
And that's a rarity, right?
That it is. I think she just did a really good job of, and she continues to, Karee, of hiring people that just care and are smart and also are excited about learning.
Yeah.
Nobody stops learning there.
Yeah.
Which is so nice, because I've worked places before, in my life, and not just in aesthetics, where, they learn their job and then that's it. They never do anything else.
Yes. And I feel like I remember, was it Anna Kate who went from like working in one position to like now?
Yes, she did.
Yes. And so I remember that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like she didn't just come here and get like comfortable.
Yes.
She's like, next
Wait,
thing.
you're so right. I forgot about that. That is
because
so
she was
true.
at the front, right?
She was.
I remember that.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
then
so
my
true.
daughter, when I brought her to do her first facial, she did it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've seen the evolution.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
But yes,
so it's really beautiful to kind of like see what's like taking
Yes.
place and the longevity of the people, where you're not like bouncing people in and out, where it's
That's
like,
so true.
this person's doing my face
Yeah.
today, this person's doing my injectable today, and then there's somebody completely different,
That is
next
so
week.
true.
So I think that's something really, really cool.
Yeah, you're so right about that. I have heard of a lot of places where the injector constantly changes too.
Yes.
And then patients are like, I don't know who my appointment's with today. And it's like, oh my gosh.
That's
Like,
scary.
yeah, especially with that world. It's like, I mean, this is serious. Like, this is medication, It's
Right.
not something that you can just willy-nilly do
Yeah. Yeah.
outside or in someone's closet, Like,
Right.
it's just,
It's
I
like,
know.
that's illegal, people. If
I
you're
know,
doing that, don't do
like,
that.
I know. It is crazy. But yeah, so that has been huge, having
that
long term.
Yeah.
staff.
That longevity is
Yeah.
really big.
Yeah.
So like when clients first come to you, what are they usually, I guess, curious about when it comes to Botox, when it comes to filler? Because now there's this huge, I feel like, debate about it, or there's a lot of like misinformation, or people are confused because they don't understand like the differences or the benefits or the cons because everything's not created equal. So can you kind of speak a little bit about when you bring in someone, because you do a consultation first, right?
Yes.
Consultation, like what are some of the questions that you ask them that they ask you? And I love that you use integrity because I think that's something that's so big that's mimicked throughout just everybody
That's
at
so true.
your office, because that's not always the case.
And that's something I've learned as I've gotten older in life. It's like any business in any field is going to be successful if your employees are happy to be there, they feel supported, and they have integrity.
Right.
And they care about the people that come in. I mean, that's your customers are the bread and butter of the business. If they are happy and they feel cared for, then it's going to just only get exponentially better from there.
Yep.
So I would say the biggest thing that they are nervous about is looking overdone. I mean, there's so many crazy pictures online and you know it's like, and then you go into the grocery store and you see someone that you're like, oh no, like, and they don't know because they just went to somebody that they thought they could trust and they thought that that's what it's supposed to look like. And it's like that kind of work, if it looks overdone, then that ruins it for everyone else, especially people who have never had it before. They're scared to go in and get it done. It's just it's really sad, honestly. But I try to make sure patients know that, hey, first off, you came to the right place because the people here care about you. They're skilled, they've been trained, they continue to learn. And
continue to learn is big because I know you guys do a lot of continued ed too.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. And I feel like my patients know I have a new technique or something new every time they come in. I'm always mentioning things like, okay, we did it this way before and we'll do similar, but maybe we'll add on this area because, I went to this training and wherever and learned from a really high up injector who a lot of these people that have been doing this for 30 years, they're such big mentors in my life. I have a lot that I still reach out to this day. But I think a lot of patients are just so scared of looking overdone. And I just make sure that they know if you are seeing the right injector and you're in the right hands, your results no one should know. Like they should look at you and go, oh my gosh, you look so refreshed. Like your makeup looks good. Or did you get your hair done? It's not, they don't know that it's filler. They don't know that it's Botox unless you tell them. Right. So that's how it should be. You shouldn't walk up to somebody and go, oh, you got your lips done. I mean, it's like, that's not what we want. I even want my patient staff to ask me like, okay, this looks so much better, Sophie. Where all did you just put it? That's a huge compliment to me when they kind of ask and try to find where it went, because that I don't want them to look in the mirror and go, oh my gosh, I look totally different. Right. I want them to go, oh, I look better. Oh, this is good. Where all did we do it? Me. Yeah, it's still you. Yeah. Just enhanced. Yeah. That's it.
So how do you, when you're going through those consultations with those individuals, help them, I know, okay, well, you're in a safe place, the people here care about you, but when they have questions, do you have this is how I would suggest you start?
Yes.
So that you're not just going all in, at one time, so that people kind of slowly build up on it.
Yeah, I usually have them start with Botox. Okay. Any of the neuromodulators. Botox is probably the most common, but there's Botox, Dysport, Xeomin, Jeuveau. There's also Daxxify. We don't carry that right now, but we have all the other four. And so they are all great. I think they're all good for different reasons. But I would say usually start with Botox just to kind of soften the lines and get someone eased into it. Because if I go in with all the full facial balancing of filler and do all that in the first session, the patient's going to be overwhelmed. Yeah. So I always start easy, just baby steps. And then they can come back and get more later. Right. So,
is there an area, or is it case by case that you usually suggest people start?
Oh, that's a good question. With Botox, I would say the most important one to me is the glabella. So that one is so hard to get rid of later. I have people come in, in their 60s, and I'm so glad they're there because we can soften it. But if that line is etched in, it is especially here, the 11s is what some people call them. They're so hard to get rid of. It's just a deep crevice, and it's a lot harder to reverse if it's already there. So I always tell people that's the most important. Forehead lines, yes, but they're thinner. So this one, it is so hard to get rid of later. If it bothers you. Some people don't, it doesn't bother them. So. Yeah. And that's fine.
it doesn't bother you,
Yeah,
it's
right.
okay.
Exactly. I mean,
It
it's that
doesn't-
we get to pick. Like we
Mhm.
choose if we can get our nails done. Like not everybody wants to do that, and that's for some people. I always tell
Yep.
people you get to choose where you put your money,
Yep.
and this is a luxury, and it's not a necessity,
Yep.
but it's a luxury, and we love it, and it's amazing. But it's not for everybody, and that's
Yep.
okay.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. And that's okay. And what's
yeah,
not for you is not for you.
absolutely. I
Yep.
don't ever want anybody to feel pressured.
And I think like that's
Yeah.
really big for people to be able to feel comfortable knowing
Mhm.
that they're going to a place where it's like, hey, I'm going for a consultation,
Yeah.
but there's no pressure. Like I can give you
Yes.
like a recommendation, some suggestions,
Mhm.
but there's no pressure for you to leave out of here and make a decision today.
That's so well said.
So like
Yes.
doing the research. And,
Yes.
like if somebody's looking to start research, I know you
Mhm.
mentioned like 4 different type. Like can you give us
Mhm.
a little
Yeah.
bit of quick
Yeah,
research
so-
about like all the different options when you're starting
Yeah.
with, what fill in the 11, what did you say, call it 11s? 11
Yes,
starting in the,
yes, yeah.
starting in the 11s
I
or the
think-
foreheads.
I think they're all different. I mean, Botox has been around the longest, obviously. It's
Okay.
also approved medically for migraines, TMJ, excessive sweating, muscle
Was
spasms.
it originally created for like migraines? Because
Yeah.
okay.
So it actually was created for blepharospasm. So
Okay.
people for eye twitching. So they were injecting it all around the eye, and Jean Carruthers and her husband actually were the ones who found out that it was a wrinkle relaxer. They were like, "Oh my gosh, these patients are not having wrinkles, and we're doing this for the eye twitching, but they're not. There's no wrinkles anymore. This is like
Wow.
a preventative thing." And
Okay.
oh my gosh, we got to send this to the FDA and get this approved. And
Right.
anyways, it's amazing how they figured that out. I wish I was the one that could.
But like, no more eye twitch. Oh, wait, you
I
actually look
mean,
youthful at the same time.
Can you imagine
Let's
coming
stamp
up with
this.
Botox? That's amazing. Like,
Yeah, that is.
So especially for cosmetic. I mean, yeah,
Right.
it was already approved for that. So,
Mhm.
but they realized, oh my gosh, this is cosmetic. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. So
I
it just
know.
grew and developed
It
over
grew
the
and
years.
developed over the years. And then the other one is Dysport, which I love so much too. It is, it's very similar. I feel like they all are just different in a way. Dysport spreads a little bit more. So patients who have more crow's feet, that I need to cover more of those lines,
Mhm.
I'll use that one.
Okay.
Dysport sometimes can kick in a little faster, but it depends on the patient.
Okay.
Some people say Botox kicks in faster. So it does depend on the client. The other one is Xeomin. That one, some people say is more natural because there's not a accessory protein attached to it, which is good and bad in some cases, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, this is a controversial topic because some people say, it's organic and there's not as much on it, so it's cleaner.
Okay.
It's still an active neuromodulator.
Okay.
The medication, the core ingredient's the same,
Mhm.
but there's no added proteins, so no accessory proteins. But for some patients, they need those proteins to have that longevity. So I always tell people, Xeomin is great for the right patient. So you have to kind
yeah.
of educate them, because I don't want someone coming in and then getting that and they needed the other, and it's like, it may work great for them, but it may
Right.
not. And then they kind of think, oh gosh, I went to that place and it didn't last long,
Like, no, that was not what you needed.
Yeah,
Actually. Okay.
but it may last long on some patients. So
Yeah.
it definitely depends on the client, and they're all different. They're all the same. So they're all botulinum toxin type A.
Okay.
So they're all in the same category. They just behave differently. It's so
Okay.
interesting. I always compare it to Coke and Pepsi. So,
Okay,
there's
that's a
different
good
fan
one.
bases for both. I am
There
a Coke
is.
fan. Sorry, Pepsi, but love Diet Coke so much. It's
Yep.
bad. But I don't think they're the same at all. But they technically are. They're both sodas. They both have caffeine. They're
Mhm.
both carbonated. They both serve the same purpose.
Right.
They just have totally different fan bases. So
Yep.
that's the same with the Botox
Same
and the
thing.
competitors. So.
So, I guess what does Botox actually do
Mhm.
to the skin once
Mhm.
it's being injected? So we
Yeah.
know that it's going to help with the crow's feet
Yeah.
and the wrinkles, but what's actually happening to the skin
Yeah.
that allows it to, is it like a relaxant, serve as a
Yeah.
relaxant or soften
Yeah.
lines? And what's happening through that process?
Yeah. So when we inject it into the muscle, it actually binds to a receptor called acetylcholine, and it makes that acetylcholine receptor not work as well. So it
Mhm.
doesn't completely take away your full function. Like, I mean, I'm sure if you put enough, it probably could, but we don't do that. There's only certain doses that they recommend. We don't usually exceed those,
Mhm.
and especially if you want to look more natural.
Right.
But we do try to stay within the FDA approved doses for
Yep.
sure, just so you get the longevity. But basically, when you inject it in the muscle, it keeps that muscle from acting as harshly. So it's not going to contract as harshly. So when you raise your eyebrows, it's not going to push that skin and crease it so harshly that it's going to make a line.
Okay.
So when you relax it, it can't do that function as well, and it prevents, which
Okay.
is amazing.
Wow.
I know. And it also kind of, I've noticed it can help shrink some pores, which is crazy. I know. And I even have one of my friends always says, Sophie, the next day after you do Botox on me, like my acne on my forehead goes away. And I'm like, oh my
Really?
gosh, it is true. It does. It kind of decreases sebum production. So it can decrease the amount of oil in the skin. And it also keeps people from sweating as much. So if they're not sweating in their hairline as much, they're not going to break out as much. So it is interesting.
Wow.
If it was approved for acne, I feel like people would have to do it more often, but so then they would get immune to it. So
it wouldn't work.
Yeah. So we can't say that, but we can't, use that as a acne treatment.
Right.
But it is a benefit, which is nice. So.
And it's just learning that, you're here for this. It could also benefit this other thing as well, but we're not saying, come in and get your Botox for your acne.
Yes, exactly. I never really tell people that until they kind of notice it, and I'm like, that's an added benefit. So people start noticing, they're like, oh, I'm going to do it a month before an event because I don't want to have, random breakouts. You still can break out, but it is a lot less. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then also like pairing, like, not just getting the Botox, but also having like a good skincare regimen is very important too, right?
Yes, that is a huge question, because if the foundation's not there, then everything I do is worthless. I mean, it really is. I preach that, because if someone's not taking care of their skin, none of the injectables that we do is going to look as good.
Right.
I promise that all my patients, like you, Tamela, and any of my other clients who go see the girls for facials, lasers, and get all the skincare, and then they come to me, that the skin that is healthy skin looks way better when you inject it, because it looks more natural. So it's more hydrated. It makes everything look it flows better. If you have dry skin and you try to put filler in there and do a bunch of Botox, I mean, it helps a little bit, but it would be so much better if you had a good foundation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good foundation is very, very important.
Oh, it is.
It's almost everything, right?
Yeah. I can't do my job without good skin. So
need good skin.
Yeah, it is. It's so important. So people, I think, forget that.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's really big. So I guess next we'll hit on how is it different from fillers, because each one of them are designed to do something different. And sometimes people think they need both or one or the other. And sometimes they go straight for the filler and don't need that. They actually need. So, like, what's the difference between Botox and filler? And then how do you determine who needs what?
That is a great question. So Botox is obviously the medication that's injected in the muscle, so it relaxes wrinkles, expression lines. So lines that are caused from, just being a human being. You have to smile and, you frown and all of those things we want, but we just want to kind of lighten that a little bit. So that is different because it's kind of helping with expression lines. Filler is going to, I always say, filler fills, but it can fill in a way that's natural. So it's all about placement. So the anatomy matters, where you place the filler matters, but filler goes in, it's a hyaluronic acid product that's a gel. So it's HA. So we naturally make HA in our body anyways. So it's very safe if done in the right hands. You just have to make sure that you are going to somebody qualified and, in my opinion, in a clinic, because we have all the antidotes there if there was an adverse event. So, I mean, I've got all the stuff if somebody ever had a vascular occlusion. We hate saying that word because it's super rare, but knock on wood. But we just make sure we have all the things present, because if that happened, I'm fine. It's no big deal. We can treat that and dissolve. You can dissolve filler. So, I would say that's another big difference between Botox and filler. It can be dissolved. So HA fillers can be dissolved, and so that's kind of nice.
Oh wait, there's another one that can be.
Yes. There's things out there now called biostimulators, which are great. I just have to make sure patients know that, we can't put that in the lips. We can't put that in areas that are very mobile, like under eyes. Biostimulators aren't good there because, mobile areas, because squinting and talking, that can move things and things can happen. And you don't want somebody to come in like, oh, there's a lump here and I want to dissolve it. Well, you can't dissolve a biostimulator. You can break it down. Yeah, you can break it down. Very scary. Yeah. So, but it's interesting. So it's not something I'm going to just do on everybody. It's something that is going to be done like, okay, now not a high risk area.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody wants to do their neck, and it's like, it's more of a watery based product. A biostimulator is. Sculptra, Radius are both examples of that.
Okay.
And you just have to make sure your patient knows that. I think a lot of people are just putting it everywhere in people's faces and not explaining that, hey, if you, don't take care of this, if you get an infection, if you go home and lay on a dirty pillowcase or, have something happen and there's a problem, I can't just go in and yeah. So if we do it right, it's fine. But it's more of the, just educating patients. I think they both have their places, but HA filler, I definitely use way more because I can do it natural. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people start to move to the biostimulators because they're supposed to be more regenerative, but I think it's more of like using them in combo. I think filler is going to help build the foundation. So I can have a patient come in with no chin and I can give them that. And it's like, that's life-changing. If you have no jawline and you give someone a jawline, but if it's placed correctly, it looks normal. It's just, I think people are putting filler in one spot. Like if people putting the cheeks, they'll, have you heard of people saying they have golf balls in their cheeks or chipmunk cheeks? And it's like, that's the old way of doing filler where people will just put it in one localized area where if you layer it very lightly and just kind of sprinkle it in, it looks like you just woke up that way. Like it's very cohesive.
Okay.
And that's how it should be. It should be placed very softly so that it looks like you just woke up more enhanced, not
so is
augmented.
This why it's very important for like whoever the injector is to have like that continued ed to know like what's changing over certain timelines and how to like better be able to change where things are being placed or what's being used?
So important. Yes, that's exactly. If you don't keep up with those things and, things are constantly changing, there's layers that maybe work better than others. There's certain products that work better than others, and you don't know unless you go get that continuing ed. And a lot of people don't realize that is expensive. Like those trainings, a lot of the trainings I've been to and I continue to go to are like, $5,000. I mean,
oh, wow.
Yeah, but they're worth every penny.
An investment
because I want to invest in myself. And when you go to those things and you come back, your patients notice. I mean, Karee's always said to me, Sophie, I love that you keep your education and you always go, even if it's not something that we go to with the clinic, I'll do it on my own because I do feel like patients notice that and they know that they're always going to get the latest and greatest, but also like the safest as well. Yeah. So it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah. And you're taking pride in continuing to sharpen your craft because you're passionate about what you get to do.
Yeah.
Like
it's worth it.
It's one of those things where I guess, how did you get so passionate about like, hey, like I'm in here question. And I want to continue to grow in this area and I just don't want to like cruise on, the foundation of what I started this on?
That is a great question. Tamela, I think I realized as I've gotten older, I feel like every year I realize this more, but when I commit to something and I learn it really well, I'm all in. Like I gotta know everything about it.
Yeah.
And it's anything in my life, which is good and bad. I mean, I do think it's hard because I can't multitask. Like people are like, what are your hobbies? And I'm like, well, I'll run on my off time or walk and go work out and have dinner with friends. And I do love to read and those kind of things and music. But it is hard because, I can get very obsessive when it comes to something. Like if I am interested in it,
right,
I want to know every single thing. And that's not humanly possible to do.
Right.
But you can get close, but it's definitely a flaw and a pro. I would say it's not a bad thing because patients know that I'm going to know everything I can about something, but I do think I need to make sure that I don't, let it consume me because I do think that's just with anything. I love what I do, but I feel like I would be that way in any career.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just like to know everything.
Listen, I'm the same way. Listen, I like to dig and give me all the information on all the things. Because, it's good to kind of know, like, what you're getting yourself into from the other side. But then when you're in your shoes and, like, you're serving people, you care about people, you have this integrity, you want to continue to advance with the greatest. People always say the greatest technology, not technology.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, it is technology
too. You want to continue to advance with the new implementation. Yeah. So I love that you are continuing to like grow and develop and identify new tools and resources that you can add to what you get to do so proudly.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. Yeah, I love my patients too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is huge. Like I learn stuff from you guys every day. I mean, just about life and just everything. I mean, patients come in with questions about, a med spa across the country. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this? What are they doing? And if it's a new device that's just come out that I haven't
Mm-hmm.
used or whatever, I'm going to go research it for them and
Yeah.
see, do we need to bring that on? Is that something worse? Should I go try it?
Right.
Like, it's definitely so great when you guys come in and when patients come in and kind of ask me questions, because
Right.
if they don't, I mean, how can we, I don't know what they want, you
Yep.
know, I feel like communication's so huge in this,
It's
in
really
this
big.
industry for sure.
It's really, really
yeah,
big. Yeah. No,
it
that's really
is.
good. So how,
Yeah.
like, when I heard you mention med spa.
Yeah.
So some people aren't going to med spas to get certain injectables done.
Okay.
Like, why aren't they going to med spas? Or what's
Mhm.
allowing, I guess, is there like a training process where you can be a non-med spa and still offer these things? Not at the kitchen table, but, in
Yeah.
these
So I
other
would say there's
places.
different places that people offer injectables. The first being the plastic surgeon's office. Usually that's a surgeon who has either does it themselves
Mhm.
on the side or hires a nurse or PA or an MP to inject patients in their med spa that's included in the practice. So
Okay.
that's one way. Derms do it too,
Okay.
which is a great way to do it. And then there's med spas, and then there's, I guess you could say med spas, things where it's like back alley things. And you're
Okay.
like, that's, I think, what you were kind of
Right.
alluding to. It
Yeah.
is like, okay, do they have a medical director? You've got to ask those questions.
Right.
Like, our medical director is Dr. Jacob Unger. He's amazing.
Mhm.
And he is always coming in and kind of collaborating with us.
Yep.
And he's awesome. If I have any questions on anything, I can call him.
Right.
But he has his own surgery center and practice. So
Right.
he is down the street.
Mhm.
And so as long as that practice that you're going to, the med spa, has someone, either in certain states it can be an NP, but basically just has the right kind of protocols
Mhm.
set in place,
Mhm.
and they know what to do safety wise. I
Right.
think that's the biggest thing, is you have to do your research on where you're going.
So if
For sure.
someone's new to this
Mhm.
or desiring to, I guess, gain more awareness around if it's suitable for them, what are like maybe the top 2 questions they should ask? Because,
Yeah.
like sometimes there's a sign when you're driving by the road, like
Mhm.
Botox here for, I don't know, $4.99 or all
Yeah.
these
Oh,
different
Lord.
type of things. So like, what are some questions they should ask to
Mhm.
ensure that they're going to the right place
Yeah.
where someone is very skilled, very
Mhm.
educated? Because you mentioned earlier, like there's these, what do you call it, botched,
Oh,
like where
yes.
people like that's a whole thing, or people look overly done. Like what questions
Mhm.
they should ask. 'Cause I don't think
That's a good question.
people are going. Well, some people may like that look, and that's
Mhm.
okay if that's your preference. But we're talking for people who
Sure.
are
Sure.
wanting to stay more on the natural side.
Sure. I would say the number one question is, okay, who's injecting me? How long have you been doing this? And you're going to know if the person's confident when they're talking to you. I mean, if they seem nervous, if they're like, oh, I just trained 6 months ago, it's like, okay, that's fine. But it's probably, if something says that it's really cheap or something, usually that's someone new. I mean, when I was brand new starting out, I was really cheap because I was new, and patients would say, why are you so, why is it so different than the surgeon? Like, what's the pricing difference and why? And I would explain to them, I've been doing this for the past 6 months. I have a big passion for it, but I am newer. And if you want to wait, and a lot of people are like, oh, okay, well, I'll do it because they want a deal, or, some
Yeah.
people would, trust me because they knew I was going to stay conservative. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it's usually, if it's too good to be true pricing, it's they're either just new, or it's just, I don't know. It may not be
They don't-
legit. And so, I hate to say that, but ask your injector all the questions. No
Mhm.
question is too many.
Right.
And no question's dumb. I always tell people, ask me whatever. There's no dumb question.
Right.
Because if you don't say something or you don't ask, then that's when people get into trouble.
Yeah, and you don't know.
Yeah.
And this is your face that we're
Yes,
talking
it's
about.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not just like a one-off treatment. It's your face. You only get one of them. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that the person is going to, take care of you and give you the natural result, but also knows their stuff. And you can tell and look at their before and afters.
Mhm.
I mean, it is hard because nowadays people don't want their picture posted. So,
Mhm.
and I understand. But so it is hard. Even patients ask all the time. They're like, I do have them,
Mhm.
but some of the greatest before and afters I have, I can't show because the patient,
Right.
just for HIPAA and for them to remain anonymous, which I totally get. But
Yeah.
it is hard in a world that people don't want to be shown to be able to show those. So I'm like so grateful when somebody does let
Yeah.
me. And sometimes I will kind of like block their eyes out if they want to. But
Mhm.
that is so helpful for other new patients coming in to
Yep.
see the work.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see something that doesn't look right or that looks off,
Like,
yeah, and ask your friends, like ask people, ask around, like, have you been there? Have you tried this person? Like,
Mm-hmm.
look at the Google reviews. I mean, that definitely is helpful. If there's a ton of good reviews, typically that means,
Mm-hmm.
that means a lot. But I would say the most important thing is to ask the injector all about themselves and how long they've been doing it, and then ask around to see if other friends have been there.
Yeah.
Because if they personally had a good experience, you're probably going to.
Yeah. And do most people who do Botox, do
Mhm.
they also do filler, or there's sometimes people who are certified in one versus
Yeah.
the other?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like,
That's
is
a good
there?
question. Yeah, there are people that do. Most people do both, but there are some injectors who are like, I don't really want to do the filler thing,
Mhm.
and they may be somebody that is busy doing. There may be a derm. They're too busy. They're doing skin checks all day. They don't have time to do all that. So
Mhm.
they do offer Botox, but they're like, I don't have time to do the filler thing. So there
Mhm.
are some people that don't do it, but most full time injectors do usually offer both because they go hand in hand.
Mhm.
I mean, there are some things that Botox can't take care of. So you have
What
to
are
kind
some
of,
of those things that
yeah,
Botox can't take care of
like,
that you would recommend filler for someone?
yeah, somebody that, wants to kind of help balance the face.
Mhm.
So if it's not a muscle thing and it's more of like the foundation of the face where somebody maybe has, no chin, or they have lips that are beautiful, but they do overpower the face. So if you give them a chin, that balances it for them. And maybe they had filler years ago that they either don't want to dissolve or they can. I don't know. It could be product based, but
Mhm.
that kind of patient, you want to go, okay, I know you're here thinking you need more cheek filler or more lip filler, but I actually we don't need to do that. We need to do the temples, or we need to do the back of the jawline, or,
Mhm.
the preauricular area,
Mhm.
other areas that will help transition, because having the facial compartments transition well looks so much more natural
Right.
than just putting filler in just a couple spots. Because I think a lot of people think less filler the better, but it
Mhm.
actually is so different. If you actually fill all the areas to make them cohesive, it
Mhm.
actually looks more natural,
Okay.
which is crazy. But then some
Wow.
people don't need all that. Some people have a lot of facial volume and they don't
Mhm.
need as much filler as maybe somebody who's been on a GLP-1 for the past 6 months, and they've lost a lot of weight, which is great, but they've lost a lot of the fat in their face. So
Mm.
that's hard. So we have to go in and kind of, okay, let's rebuild the cheek for you. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so that wouldn't be a Botox thing. That would be more of a
A
filler.
filler thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what's some of the most, I guess, when people approach you, some of the misconceptions that are around Botox and filler, because sometimes I'm like watching these videos online, and there's like all of these misconceptions
Mm-hmm.
that can be misleading
Mm-hmm.
about what Botox and filler is, and how people like perceive like what it's going to do to
Mm-hmm.
them or for them, and it scares people away, where it becomes like, oh my gosh, like absolutely not. I would
Mm-hmm.
never. So what are some of those misconceptions you've heard?
I would say that you are stuck with it for sure. Like a lot
Mhm.
of people think, oh, once you do it, you have to do it forever. That's not true. I mean, yeah, once you try it and you go to a good injector, you're probably going to love it. But if you don't, it's okay. I mean, you don't
Mhm.
have to do it again. It's not something that you're stuck doing. So your muscle isn't permanently weakened. I shouldn't say. We do paralyze the muscles, but it's more of a weakening effect. So they'll be weakened temporarily, but they're
Mhm.
not going to be that way forever. Because
Okay.
when the Botox wears off, it's gone. And so I always tell people that makes people feel better, where it's not like you have to do it the rest of your life,
Mhm.
So
When it's gone, it's gone.
I think that's a huge fear that people have. They're like, kind of compare it to like, oh, I'm indecisive. I've always wanted tattoos, but I can't decide on one.
It's not permanent like
It's
a
too permanent,
tattoo.
it's not. And that's kind of cool actually, in a way, because you can try it.
And are these treatments more preventable
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
corrective? So are they preventing certain things? Are they correct? Or is it both and?
Both and for
Okay.
sure. Botox is more preventative and correcting, but more preventative because you're keeping that line from happening.
Mhm.
So I would say that one's more preventative. Filler can be preventative as well, but it's more corrective. So it's more kind of that instantaneous gratification. Like the patient leaves, and if they get their lips done, they can notice when they leave.
Mhm.
Botox takes 2 weeks to fully kick in. So I always
Mhm.
tell people, be patient, because you'll notice 2 days in that your Botox is starting to kick in, but it's not done yet. You gotta wait till the 2 weeks, because I personally have tested that on myself years ago.
Mhm.
I tweaked something of mine on day like 5, I think, or
Oh,
something, and I'm
wow.
like, "Oh, it's kicked in. I have an event. I just need to go ahead and add more. It's fine." Oh, no. Yeah, that was no, that was no good.
Wait,
I
were
had
you like, oh,
my brow was permanently frozen for like 4 months. It was like I had a stroke, honestly. This was like
oh
around
my
the time of COVID.
goodness.
Yeah. And so I always tell people, like, give it 2 weeks
Give it
because,
2 weeks because
oh,
if you do
please.
anything before
Yeah.
2 weeks, you could
If
be
yes,
making a
something could
bigger
happen.
problem.
Yes, it was like I always tell people, I'm like, we don't. Even if you do still need a tweak, that's fine. But you're 9 times out of 10, it resolves on its own. But even if it
Mhm.
doesn't, we know how much dose to do, because if you do it 5 days in, I mean that muscle's still kind of fully moving, and you can dose them up, and then by the time the 2 weeks, the first dose kicks in, and then 2 weeks after that, the tweak kicks in, and then they can't.
I
It's awful.
and then
So
it's oh my gosh.
yeah, I
So
learned
you're
my
like Christmas
lesson.
with the cranks.
Uh-huh. I forgot that was in that movie. Yes. I always think of that and then Just Go With It. Have you seen that movie?
No, I
Oh
haven't.
my goch, the one where the brow is like all the way up to here.
No,
Oh,
I
you
have
have
to
to
go
watch
see
it.
that now.
Oh gosh. It's that okay, that's not gonna happen. The brow is
Like,
like
we don't
way
want
up
that to
here, but
happen.
that movie kills me.
Okay, so is it true that well, you answered that. If it's you
Mhm.
can start and stop, so you're not stuck
Yeah.
with it. So that's like a huge misconception. But is there anything or is there a thing of starting too
Mhm.
early or waiting too late?
Ooh, that's
So
a good one.
you talked about like how sometimes I guess I'm gonna keep calling it the 11.
I
Like
love
if
it.
it's already
That's
if it's
perfect.
already here, then it could be harder to
Mhm.
tweak it later. So is there such thing of, oh, you're too young to start or you're too old to start? Or is it case by case based on,
Mhm.
facial structure, what's
Yeah.
happening with the skin? You could be 18 and if you
Mhm.
want to, check it out, then hey, it's a good idea for
Yeah.
this and this. You could be 45 and want to check it
Yeah,
out.
I think it 100% is case by case. I think yes, there's certain patients and I'm like, okay, that you're too young, you're in high school. It's like, no, please. Like we have
Let's
plenty
wait.
of
We have
time for
plenty
that. Oh
of
my
time for
gosh.
that.
No, yeah. Oh my gosh. It
Oh
happens. I
my
have people come in.
gosh.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
crazy.
and I have to just politely be like, "Oh, let's go get a facial."
Let's
Use
get
that
let's
money
get a
towards your
facial.
skin. Get some, get
Yeah.
some moisturizer or something. We
Yeah.
have plenty of time, but it is case by case because I always give this example. I had a patient who was, I think, young, like
Mhm.
22 or 23, who came in with her mom, and her mom was so sweet. This was years ago, and her mom was like, "I know this is crazy. Like, I can't. I know it's crazy. I'm bringing my daughter." But I'm here to do her crow's feet. She's a professional soccer player. She's just gotten into this. I mean, she's been playing soccer her whole life, but really on the professional side more
Mhm.
so recently.
Mhm.
And her crow's feet, I mean, they were there. I
Mhm.
mean, they would have been so much worse if she didn't start. But her mom was like, "Look at mine," like they were so deep that it was like
Mhm.
a valley, like
Mhm.
it was like that
Right.
was their everything else was fine. It was
Yeah.
just the crow's feet was their problem area.
Mhm.
And she was like, "I just don't want her to have this." And
Mhm.
so if we could just do a light amount just to soften it,
Mhm.
because she is outside playing soccer all day and she's
Yep.
squinting all the time. So that was a case where the patient is really young. And I
Mhm.
hate doing that on someone really young, but she
Mhm.
she needed it. Whereas
Yeah.
somebody else coming in at that age with no wrinkles and they're there just because their friend got it, I
Yeah.
have to kind of talk to him and say, "Hey, you don't have any expression lines yet.
Mhm.
Let's wait until you start to see something and we'll prevent that." But
Okay.
I would say, yes, starting younger is good for preventative effects, but sometimes it is too young, I think.
So
So,
sometimes younger
yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes younger is a little too young.
Yeah, it depends on the patient. Most people start around 30. I mean, I am having late 20s too, but
Okay.
I'd say, late 20s, early 30s would be
Okay.
ideal. If not, it's okay. If you can't, just because of life, because of budget, if you can't do it till you're in your 40s, that's
That's
fine.
fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can still help. It's not like it's too late.
Yeah.
My mom is a good example. I mean, she didn't have Botox when she was my age,
Mhm.
so it wasn't out, and so
Mhm.
it's one of those things where when I started doing this, we've been able to over the last several years soften lines that
Mhm.
were stubborn at
Mhm.
first, because they were already there, but
Yeah.
they're better.
Yeah.
And so it's not too late. It's just, how much prevention do you want? And if you want to not have a lot of wrinkles, then start early if you
Mhm.
can.
So what if somebody's looking in the mirror and they're like, I'm trying to figure out like, should I
Hmm.
go for a consultation or
Yeah.
not? What are some areas you would suggest them to look in to see if Yeah, I know they can come in for consultation
Yeah.
easy, but if it's like, hey, I'm looking in the mirror, what should I look for to see if I should even consider or come in for a consultation?
Yeah. Things that bother you is the biggest thing. I always tell people, like, if you look in the mirror and something really bothers you, please, like, let's ask questions about it. Go look into it. Like, some people have crow's feet and they look beautiful and they don't care, you
Mhm.
know? Like, I think crow's feet look good on men, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I don't think that they should be really frozen. I think doing preventative things on men is fine and it's great for some of them, but and even on women, like having smile lines is fine. It's just how bad does it bother the patient? How deep are they? Is it going to
Mhm.
be a problem later?
Mhm.
I always ask the patient that because it is preference. I mean, if someone's wrinkles don't bother them, then we're not going to do it. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not something that they care about, and that's okay.
Yep.
You know, I would say it's really based off of what bothers you, and then look at areas where if you put your makeup on, is it settling there? You know, is it hard to smooth out? Like, is the line getting deeper by the day? And
Okay.
that could be something that they want to ask about. Or when they put their lipstick on, do they not have any lips anymore? You know, as we age, we lose our volume in our lips. And so I have a lot of women come in and say, hey, I've never thought I would get lip filler, but I need it. Like, I can't even put my lipstick on without it bleeding everywhere because I have no volume there.
Okay.
And so what I tell them is, we'll just build it to where you used to have it, you know, not more than that. I mean, I just want to kind of get your lip to where you had it 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So bringing a picture of them is great. Like when people bring a picture of them when they were younger, that's so helpful because I can kind of see, especially my older clients. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that. And I love seeing the photos because I'm like, oh my gosh, look at you. Like they're still so beautiful sitting in my chair, but seeing like that is so helpful because I can see, okay, this is where, we don't want to change anything. So if we get them closer to that, as much as we can, that would be great. You know,
Yeah.
it is nice to see what the patient looked like.
Yeah.
20 years before. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And you mentioned men. So
yes.
is there a thing? I was reading something. I think they called it Botox. Is that
Oh my
is that
gosh.
really a thing?
Yes, it is.
Is that what they call it? Or
yes.
No?
I mean, not everybody does, but yeah, it is.
So let's talk a little bit about the Botox.
Okay.
Like Botox. What do you see like some of your male clients come in and want? Is it different from your female clients? Do they need as much, not as much? Are they getting just Botox or Botox and filler? What does the male industry side of this look like?
So the male industry side has gotten bigger for sure.
Really?
Yes. Before COVID, when I was injecting the years before COVID, it was not, I feel like it was rare. I mean, I had somebody every now and then, but it's definitely gotten more popular recently, which is good. But a lot of people bring their husbands, they're like, this line bothers me. I want you to do it, or which makes me laugh. And the husband's like, oh, I don't want to be here, But then some are like, this bothers me, I have a really deep 11 line that just bought, and they can just do that. If they're like there for a certain area, we don't have to do everything. But I will say men have stronger muscles. So think, in life they do. I mean, they are the ones that pick up heavy stuff for us.
Yeah.
Same with the face. I mean, when you try to inject a male expression line or their muscles, it is so interesting. They typically do need higher doses of the medication to work.
Really?
Yeah. And it's kind of annoying for them too,
Do
because
you
they're like,
notice
good grief.
that in the first session, or can you kind of like gauge that before you go in? Like
I can gauge it usually.
Okay.
I don't always know for sure, and sometimes they do need more, but a lot of times men do need a little bit more than the females because it won't work. And that's so hard because then they go to check out and they're thinking, oh my goodness, why is this more expensive than my wife's?
Yeah.
But trust me, the wives, we make it up, and women make it up in skincare and other things. But I do tell them, if you're going to do it, you want it to work and you want it to last.
Yeah.
So the higher the dose of the medication, the longer it lasts. So if you just do a tiny bit, enough to where it doesn't work. Yeah, but we can still do enough to where it works, but it not look frozen.
Okay.
So I think it depends on the patient. But yeah, the units on men is very, I think, surprising to people because their muscles are so strong.
Strong muscles in the face and the arms and the legs.
It is crazy. Like, if you think about that, it's like, oh my gosh. But filler-wise on men, I kid it occasionally for sure. A lot of weight loss too. Or people that are just already slender that, kind of their under eye bothers them, or, they want some support. And what we'll do is a lot of times we'll build the cheek, the mid-face up, not to where it looks feminine,
Mm-hmm.
but just barely little amounts of support to where they don't notice the hollows as much under the eye, rather than just filling the under eye.
Yep.
Those kind of things are nice. Building a jawline. Men love jawline filler.
Okay.
Because some men were never born with like it was very round, you know, which is fine. If that's their natural, that's how God made them. I mean, that's fine.
That's fine.
I think it's exactly, there's nothing wrong with it. But some men come in and they're like, you know, I can't, my profile, Sophie, it drives me crazy. And some people that are on camera a lot or in the music industry, it's hard. It drives them nuts when they feel like, oh, it's just all round. And
Okay.
you can usually, if someone's face is more round, which I have a round face too, but it's more, if you lose the jawline area, you see more of the double chin and things like that bother people. So men love getting a more sculpted and snatched. I hate saying that word, but I know, but it's like they
snatch me, so snatch
they love
me.
it. They love coming and bringing pictures, which is funny. I trained with a guy in London, Dr. Zach Alley, who is the king of jawlines. I mean, he does a ton of men. He does females as well, but he is so good at jaws. So,
Okay.
yeah, that was a wonderful training
Wow.
with him. Yeah, I had a lot of my male patients go, did you go?
Did you go?
What'd
Did
you
you
learn?
get it?
Are we
What'd you
ready?
learn? You ready to fix
I'm
my
like,
chin?
oh my goodness. And then somebody has a beard or like a
Oh,
sculpted
yeah.
beard.
So how does that work? Does it help with how the appearance of the beard is? If
Yes, a little, but I would say sometimes the beard like gives the illusion of a jawline. So I've had some people, if they cut it right, they'll come in for jawline filler, and I'm like, did you just have that cut? Like that looks good. Like you don't need it. Like that looks, you just gave yourself a jawline because of the way it's angled. So that kind of patient, I'm like, oh, well, that just a simple like right trim on the beard can do wonders. But yeah, you can still do filler, and maybe they just need less if they, do have a beard that kind of helps enhance.
Yeah.
But somebody that, has no facial hair, I would say would probably need more filler to kind of
than the others.
show a change, if that makes sense.
Got it. And how often are people, and this could be a case-by-case thing as well, but how often do people come in to get a retouch on Botox and filler? Is it based on the brand, or is it based on how that person's skin and muscles are receiving the product? What does the investment look like for someone who's considering it?
That's a great question. It is very dependent on the patient for sure, and what you want. I mean, this stuff is not cheap, and it's partially because that you want to pay for the skill. I mean, for sure, you don't want to go to somebody that just started. Again, like I said, I was cheap when I was new.
Been doing this 2 days. Come on in.
So it's part of that, but a lot of it is the product. It's expensive, and the brands that we use are the best brands, and they last. And so that's the thing. We want to use something that's going to hold you. So even if you spend $75 or $50 more than the competitor product, and it lasts you an extra 6 months to a year, especially filler wise, that's worth every penny, So these products are expensive. Botox, I'd say make sure and budget that. I mean, you get that usually 3 to 4 times a year, depending on if you come every 3 months or every 4 months.
Okay.
And that typically can run, I mean, if you do upper face, only like $500. If you have really strong muscles, it can get up to $700. If you do just one area, like the frown lines, that's usually like $300. So there's ways to do it. It's just more of like what you're looking for and where. And filler, we usually do an area. So I always tell people, you can kind of build on it. You don't have to do it all today. I do like when we balance the face. So if we're going to do something, we're not going to start with lips, because if I do like somebody, especially somebody that doesn't have a chin, like if someone had no chin and I just did their lips and they're walking around for 6 months till they can come back with lips that walk in before they do, I can't do that. Like, it's like, oh no,
you're like, don't tell nobody.
I'm like, oh no, you did not come here. Oh no. And Karee laughs when I say that, because it's like, no, we can't have that.
We can't have that.
So I do have to kind of figure out what the patient wants and when to do it. But, because budget's an issue. I mean, it is. I think about it all the time. I'm like, I don't know how I would do this, if I wasn't working in this industry. It is hard, but there's ways to do it. We all find money to get our hair done. We find money to get our nails done. We put your money towards what you want to do. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
If you like going on a bunch of fancy vacations, then great, you can do that. But maybe you do one less a year and put that money towards your aesthetics treatments.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really, really good for people to understand. Like, it's an investment, what the investment entails. How do you get to decide between this or that?
Yeah.
But then what it's doing for you, your confidence, we don't want you one part of your body walking in the room before you, but like, what's the balance of all that and how to do it the right way?
Yeah.
So,
And lower face is another thing too.
Really?
So that can add cost. So I always tell people I love doing the neck and the jawline with Botox, but that's, something that I have to talk to people about. I mean, it's amazing. And we see it all over TikTok and Instagram. People, all my clients
what
are coming in.
What are they doing?
They're asking, they're like, what's the Nefertiti neck lift? Or what's
it
Botox
called?
in the neck?
Nefertiti
neck lift.
Nefertiti neck lift. Okay.
And it's interesting. It's basically injecting the muscles of the neck and the lower face that pull down naturally. So they're depressor muscles and they love to yank. So like our frown, like the DAOs here, and the platysma, they all just want to yank down. So when you inject them with Botox, it will relax the actual muscle that pulls. So then it just kind of feels more lifted and up, and everything just feels tighter. But it's a lot of units, and it works wonderful. But it's something that I have to tell people. I'm not just going to tell.
Triple your costs.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be spending double. It's basically upper and lower face. It's the same. So I always tell people just to, you can do it every other time. You can do it when you want to do it. But it's a lot of my patients are like, I didn't know we could do this, and it's hard because I'm not just going to tell everybody about it if they don't ask also. Because if you bring attention to someone's neck and it doesn't bother them, then that's all they're going to stare at from that. I have so many people tell me I went somewhere and they just told me my neck just really needed so much, and I've never even noticed my neck, and I always thought I had a good neck, and now I feel awful, and I didn't go back because and I'm like, you have to be careful. So it's one of those things where that might not bother them, and so but lower face Botox is great, but it can add cost too. So I always tell people you got to pick and choose what is worth it. Pick and
choose what's worth. What are you willing to invest and where do you want to spend your coins?
Yeah, and we don't have to do it all. We
don't
can
have to do it all
over time.
at one time.
Yeah.
And then the skincare is still important.
Yes.
So let's not spend it all in one place.
Yeah, for sure.
Disperse it evenly.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So do you ever have to convince someone who comes in and say, I want this, 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 and this, and be like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, we are not doing all of that. You don't need all of that. Because your clients are a walking billboard for you. And so, somebody comes in, they ask for 10 different things and they're going for this TikTok look, and you give it to them, and then they're like the people you run into at the grocery store, like, oh, who did that? And you're like, Sophie.
Oh gosh, that's not our assignment. Oh man, I always tell my patients, if you ever see anything that looks like off or weird and they said they came here, you better tell me or have them come immediately back, because I even worry about bruises. Like, people bruise and that's normal. For example, I may have a patient booked for an hour for lip filler. And a lot of times I'll try to either like look them up or have them send a selfie if I don't know them, so that we know what they look like. And then I can usually judge that before, but sometimes I can't. And they come in and they want lips, and that's what they were booked for. And they walk in and their lips are, they're huge, and they've had them done in the state they used to live in, and it's fine. That may be what they want, but they want more today. And I'm like, I can't do that. So I have to walk them through the conversation of, hey, I would actually probably dissolve this so I can start over. I'm not sure what is in here, and it's not always bad work, but sometimes it's where it's like, you can't add anymore. So you just have to be honest. And I think a lot of people appreciate that for sure, but you have to just kind of take that and go, okay, I know you may have lost an hour of your time, and because that patient didn't get anything, but that's better in the end, because you don't have people walking around town with huge lips. Like, you just can't do it. So I have to walk them through it, but in a nice way. It's like you just have to kind of explain to them why. And if you talk them through the science and the anatomy and why the lip tissue can only hold a certain amount of volume, if you kind of explain that to them, a lot of them will understand. And then some don't, that's okay. And I'll refer them to somewhere else. And that's okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, because if they want them huge, then it's like, that's not what I do.
Yeah. I don't do huge lips. So no knock to you and what you like.
Totally.
Like, I appreciate the boldness and the honesty, but I can't do that. Yeah, so maybe go here and they'll.
Yeah. And a lot of people, either they'll be like, oh, Sophie, I want to do what you say. Or they're like, oh, thank you for telling me before I spend money. If, I want big lips. So yes, I'll go, but most people, they do hear me out. So it's just more of like a fresh canvas. I mean, if you keep injecting too much in a lip, that is just very big, then and the patient never had that either, it's just that's overpowering, and the filler doesn't know where to go. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
So with a lot of the videos and I think things that people are seeing online, and they're is that like something that's trending that they
Mhm.
think, hey, I need to be on the in crowd? Or do you think they're actually seeing it and they're like, oh no, that looks really good?
Like the overfill.
The overfill.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Okay.
That's a good question. I wonder that a lot. I'm like, what? Why would somebody want to have that? But it's to each their own. I do think it's interesting. I think people start to get kind of, I hate to say this, but like body dysmorphia a little bit when you think
Mm.
about like when you look at you, we see ourselves every day.
Mm-hmm.
So when they keep getting stuff done, they don't remember what they look like with no lip filler or with no cheek filler or whatever area. They don't remember really where they started. So all they're doing is comparing it to the last treatment. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like if they've had big lips for a while or big cheeks for a while,
Right.
it's, they come in thinking, oh, I've lost some. And yeah, they maybe lost 10%, but it's the cheek is still significantly more enhanced than when they first came in.
Yep.
So you have to kind of show them, hey, we got to remember where we started, because I do not want to ever change who you are and what you look like.
Yep.
So reminding them of that is very crucial, I think, because people forget. I mean, I hate to say that word, body dysmorphia, but it is true. I mean, think about when you like lose weight. Like I think about times in my life I've lost weight and or worked out more or whatever, and I don't necessarily notice it. Maybe I do when I like put clothes on, but
you don't see, because you're looking at yourself every single day, and
I
so
don't
you're
see
like,
it.
I still kind of look like me to me.
But people, when you haven't seen them in months, they're
They're like,
like, oh my gosh, you look great.
Yeah.
That's huge. I think that also is something with filler, because people think like, and even Botox, are like, did this help? And then I show them the before and they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like that looks so much better. And so having those pictures so the patients can see them is huge.
No,
So
that's
why I'm glad we have them. So
glad you have that.
Yeah, it's nice for them. And one day you may want to look back to
Yep.
5 years before and be like, oh my gosh, all that time and money I spent and things that I did, lasers, facials, Botox filler, whatever it might be, all of that was worth it, because look where we started and now look where we are. I mean, this is like aging backwards. It's amazing. So
are there any laser treatments? I'm glad you mentioned laser treatments. Any laser treatments that are your favorite right now to pair with people who are on a really great skincare regimen of taking care of it and they're pairing it with Botox, filler, either or both and?
I would say there's a ton that do different things, but if I had to pick one, probably Clear and Brilliant, just because it's always going to be a maintenance treatment. It always, it helps. It helps with pores. It helps with pigment. I love it. Everybody to each their own, but I love it because it has each wavelength. It has 2 different wavelengths, so they hit different things. The 1440 part of the treatment is going to help with skin tightening, pore size, kind of overall just rejuvenation of the skin, collagen building, and then the 1927, which is the handpiece that's for pigment. You can do them both. And so the patient's kind of getting a little bit of both, but you have to do more than one. I mean, if you do one and never do it again, you'll see a little difference, but it's not. It does. It builds. So I always tell people, try them all. Get microneedling, get which is not necessarily a laser microneedling, but try that treatment. Do IPL if you've got redness. Do IPL if you've got big dark spots that like bother you from being out at the lake all year. It's like that kind of thing. You can try that, and that helps. I mean, chemical peels are great. RF microneedling I love, but it depends on the actual device too. We have Silfirm, which I love very much. All of these things kind of combine together, but I do find that patients, everybody's different. Think about when you talk to your friends. They're like, I like Pilates when I work out. I like running. I do strength training. This helps me. This is way better than this. And it's like, well, you don't know why, because they're all good.
Yeah.
But same with the lasers. They're all great, but they work better on certain people. And so I always tell people, you're not going to lose out trying one. Just try it, and then you're going to know
see
what's your favorite. I think Clear and Brilliant's the most common. And then obviously an IPL, BBL is great for especially people with really red skin.
Okay.
It helps a lot with broken capillaries and all of that. So that's huge, but making sure that you wear your SPF is
yeah. Kendall mentioned that.
I mean,
the SPF is a big thing.
Yeah, it is. I had to say it because it's like if you're not doing that, then everything you're doing in the med spa or in any clinic is not gonna do any. Like it's just wasting.
Wow.
Because that sun is just so powerful, and we love it. It's good for vitamin D and all of that, and for serotonin and all of those things. And you got to have a little sun, but if you only bake in the sun all the time and don't ever wear any protective stuff, the skin takes a hit big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it really does. And it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm learning that. Like, okay, I need
Same.
sunscreen.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that,
Well, I
but
mean,
then
but
you're like, oh,
you realize that, like, oh, I know
yeah.
I really need it.
Yeah. I did
Like,
one of those scanners, like the virtual scanners. I think it's called Aura. We were at a training a couple months ago and they had it, and we were definitely thinking about bringing it on. But you put your face in this like thing, and it does like a virtual scan, like, and looks at pigment
oh,
and
wow.
aging and collagen. And I'm like, oh, I got some pigment under there. You may not see it yet, but it's
But
in there.
so will it eventually
Yeah,
come
it'll
to,
make its
oh,
way.
wow.
Yeah, especially if you stay, you don't protect it with
Okay.
SPF. So that can definitely exacerbate it more. But there definitely is pigment, and especially like on the driver's side, So it's hard. You can't. I have problems when I'm driving, just adding more sunscreen, especially to that side. So that side takes a hit big time.
Yeah. And I've been seeing people like add it to their hands. I guess because
Yes.
they're like
Yes,
driving
that's huge. Sometimes I'll be honest, I forget to do that. So it's okay if you don't feel
It's okay.
terrible.
Face
But
over hands.
yeah, we got to do what we got to do. Sometimes you're
do
going to
it.
forget it, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
So, if we're considering skincare regimen, laser treatment, Botox or filler or whatever, like what should they do first? Should they come to you first and then go to Clear and Brilliant and Kindle for a facial, or should they start Kindle, laser, then you? What's
You're
the
fine.
order of importance for someone who's trying to dibble and dabble in all of it, where they're looking in the mirror and say, okay, I think I need this, this, and this. Where do they start first?
I would say, especially at the clinic at Karee Hayes, I think that the initial consult and glow facial is so amazing and important. The estheticians will, and you've had this, they'll go through all of your skincare regimen. They'll tell you, the stuff you might be using at home now. That's fine. You can use this, but maybe try this, or you can get this at the drugstore and maybe get this here, but whatever it might be. But that is huge to kind of get the patient introduced into that world.
Yep.
Get their skin healthy, clean it out, blackheads removed, all of those things, and get them on a good regimen. And then we can dive into the injectables and lasers.
Okay.
I mean, you can start on those for sure, but I always tell people, especially in our clinic, it's cool to start from there because that's where you can, you get all that ready and then your skin's prepared. And then we do the other things, and they work better, and the patient looks overall more natural looking. Rather than just starting with one thing.
Yeah.
And the lasers, I feel like, can work better too. Because if you just start with that and you don't,
do the other stuff.
Yeah, think about it. You got blackheads all in there and the skin's so clogged, and then you're lasering it. I mean, it can help. But if you clean that out, that canvas is ready to go. And then the collagen can kind of be renewed and kind of, stimulated is really the word. I feel like I always say, a skin that's ready for the treatment is always better. Think about when you shave your face, like Karee always talks about that. And it's a really good thing. You can do it at home. With a creamy cleanser, and I'm sure Kendall talked about this. But it's
it
great.
was fun to hear about it.
Yeah, you're preparing that, and so anytime you anything after that, lasers, injectables, all of that, it's just gonna be better because the skin's ready for it.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And what's your most requested treatment right now that people come in for their consultation? What are you seeing people want the most of from you right now?
I will definitely say temple filler. So people, that is the number one place that as we age, I mean, it is hidden and you don't notice it as much. If people have a lot of weight loss, that's a big place you'll notice it.
Okay.
But it can they get really hollow right here, and it just makes the eye feel droopier. Everything looks more off, like the cheeks can look more overdone if the temple's hollow, because it's more like, I always say, like peanut head. Like it is. It's like if you're only feeling somebody's cheeks. And you're not doing the other areas, it's not going to look natural. And so temple filler is so easy. And it's definitely something that you have to be in the right hands to have done. I mean, it's definitely a treatment that, you have to know your anatomy, all of those things. But if you go to somebody that's highly skilled and qualified, it is so amazing. Like it's one of my favorite treatments because it's just most people can use it. Some people don't have hollow temples, but most people can use it and they barely bruise and they walk out and they just look better. Wow. And you don't know nobody knows what happened. They're like, you just look better, but they don't know it was filler. I mean, and that's everywhere in the face, but temples the most. I mean, it is, nobody's really scared to try it because it's in an area that typically needs it. I mean, that whole temporal hollow space is so, like, it loses so much volume as we age.
Oh, wow.
And when you fill it back up, it can kind of raise the eyebrow. It's really nice.
Okay.
I love that treatment.
Okay.
And it's pretty quick. So
Get in and out with your
Yeah,
temple
I
foot.
know, I know. So that is definitely, most people are hearing about it now. We've been doing it for years, but it was officially like there was a product that kind of got that official like FDA indication. It lasts like a year, I think. Voluma is the one that got the indication,
Okay.
and we love that product. And it lasts about a year. But that one, when that kind of came out and got like promoted, very like there was marketing and everything, patients now are coming in asking for it, which is great. I mean, I tell people about it, but it's nice when they know about it
Yeah,
already.
that's
Because then
good.
they're coming in saying, "Hey, I want this."
And they know exactly what they're
Yeah,
looking for. They've done their
yeah,
research to know why they're looking for it.
yeah,
So it kind of helps you be
yeah,
able to
totally, yeah.
justify or take away some misconceptions or encourage
hmm
it because it is needed. So that's
Absolutely,
good.
yeah. You're right.
Love that. Love that. So, is there anything you can think of that we miss hitting
Mm.
to educate people on skincare, Botox, fillers, dissolvables versus non-dissolvables, the treatment
hmm
that it serves from a medical like migraines, TMJ? Like,
hmm
is there anything that we miss hitting on that you would like
I'll
to
tell,
share?
yeah, I would say that another question I get a lot from patients recently, and I'm glad because this needs to be talked about, is with Botox, especially
Mm-hmm.
filler, no, but I mean, yes, you don't want to overdo filler, but
Mm-hmm.
Botox, if you introduce it too frequently, so I always tell people wait the 3 months if you can. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you need a tweak, that's fine, and that's fine every now and then after 2 weeks, getting a little tweak for
Mm-hmm.
on a brow or a line that didn't take as well, that's fine. But the people that chronically come in as soon as they see a line
Mm-hmm.
come up, they're going to be introducing that medication into their body every time. So that product can build up antibodies. And the
Mm.
body will eventually go, hey, it might not happen on everybody, but there have
Mm-hmm.
been people that have come in that have been to 5 other med spas, and they come to me and they're like, Sophie, my friend told me to come to you to try this product, or,
Mm-hmm.
Jeuveau or Botox or whatever. They tried Botox, but they were like, you guys have this other one, so I want to try that, but nothing's worked on me. Like
Mm-hmm.
nothing works, and it used to. I don't know why. Like nothing works, and they've
Mm-hmm.
tried 5 other products. I always tell them, I'm like, it's probably not going to work with me, but especially because that patient is resistant. And so, yeah. And a
Wow.
lot of those patients tell me, I just overdid it. I got on a membership program somewhere,
Oh.
and I got my Botox every 6 weeks, and I did baby Botox, and I just did little tiny spritzes every 6 weeks. So I didn't ever have to, spend a ton, but it was just little baby amounts. And I felt like I liked it because it was, it felt more natural because it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a lot, but it actually ended up hurting them in the end because you
Oh,
were constantly
wow.
introducing that product in, the medication into the body, and then it
Mhm.
builds up antibodies and it doesn't work.
Oh,
I
wow.
know.
Oh,
So
goodness.
that's a huge thing I think that's happening right now. Now, I'll tell you this, they do say, if you stop doing it for 4 or 5 years, then maybe, you can build that
Mhm.
resistance will go away. That's
Mhm.
what they say. I've not seen that on the true resistance patients.
Mhm.
Some of them, they've been to multiple other providers and it didn't work on them either. So
Mm.
it's so hard, and it worries me too on myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I hate that. But yeah, so more with Botox, more frequently with Botox is
Botox
not
and
always better.
okay.
That's the biggest misconception I think people forget, is they think, oh, I need to come in more, but
Yeah.
it's not the case with that.
Yeah.
Filler, you have to be careful with not overdoing it, but that's not going to really build up resistance
Yeah.
because it's not really,
It's
affecting the
affecting
muscle.
the muscle and
Yeah.
it's dissolvable and all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it important or how important is it for someone to choose a provider and stick with them? I mean, if they're
hmm
bad, then that's fine, but not to hop around, allowing
Yes.
different people to experiment different things and how those
Yeah.
things can maybe combat each other,
Yeah.
or if one person uses Dysport versus
hmm
Botox. What does that look like?
I always tell people, I mean, if you can stay with the same, provider, because that provider knows your face. They know, if you've been seeing them for years, they know. I mean, it's crazy. You learn that client's face.
Mm-hmm.
You learn what works better on them, what dose works better on them. So staying with the same person is so helpful. But I understand, like, there's people that live in other places. Like we have patients that have a house up north, or like live in the south for the winner.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of like they go with their friend to an event, and those things happen, especially with Botox. But it's one of those things where it is important to, for the most part, kind of stay with the same person because
Mm-hmm.
they do know your face. But I always tell people if there's something you're not happy with, make sure to communicate that to your
Mhm.
provider because, and then they may be able to do it the way you like it and they may not be. But if you don't communicate it, then they can't read your mind. So
Mhm.
I always tell people it's like you have to say, if you don't like something or you want to do something different, make sure and tell
Make sure
them.
you communicate that open
Yeah.
and honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's huge. 9 times out of 10, a skilled provider can redirect and do
Do
whatever you're
something.
asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it more important, this is my last question,
Yeah.
to have someone who is a nurse practitioner versus someone who has just been trained? Like, what's the benefit of seeking out someone who
That's a good
is
question.
a healthcare medically trained professional who
Mm-hmm.
also does injectables
Mm-hmm.
versus, just a 6-week training and now we're getting injected?
Yeah, oh gosh. Yes, definitely asking how long they've been doing it,
Mhm.
where they've been trained, and their credentials for sure. I mean, I think as nurse practitioners and the PAs in Tennessee, like obviously we can prescribe certain things alongside a collaborative physician as well. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously MDs and dentists and I think that's it, us four, and then the nurses.
Mhm.
But so it depends on the state. So
Mhm.
every state's different. Some states only let NPs, PAs, and MDs inject. Some only let nurses inject too. It just depends on the state for sure. But I think it's also depends on the training. I mean, I have some amazing nurse colleagues that are great injectors because
Mhm.
they stay up with all of the up to date things. They go to all the same trainings as me. But it is nice to have that ability to have that prescribing capability too. If a patient needs a steroid or because they're swollen or if they
Yeah.
do need an antibiotic for something. I mean, we tend to not use that for the
Yeah.
most part, but that is nice. But I think it really is. It's about their school credentials, but it's more importantly about the training for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
big.
Yeah, and making sure that it's somebody like the state, they're following the state laws.
The state laws.
Yeah.
Ask for the certificate.
I mean, yeah, if someone's like, has a certain credential and they're in a state and that certain subset of people can't do injectables, then they
Mhm.
shouldn't be they can't.
Yeah.
So that is not good.
Not good.
Yeah, so I always tell people
That's scary.
find out the laws and who can inject in this
In the
state.
state. So
Yeah.
you can go to your consultation with the
Yeah.
right questions to be
Yes.
able to discern anything
Yeah.
that is not legit.
Yeah, because then you'll know they're following all the safety laws and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're by the book, and that's huge.
Yeah.
For
No,
sure.
That's good. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing.
absolutely.
Thank you so much. So we're going to move into
Okay.
our tea time confessions.
Okay.
And this is one of our favorite parts of the show. But whether it's a life lesson, a moment of reflection, hard-learned wisdom, one thing you wish everyone understood, like what's something you would leave all the listeners with? It could be specific to your career path, life, whatever.
Really just oh man, the biggest thing I've learned, especially from getting to know all my patients and their life stories, I just love them so much. I love you so much, and you learn so much from people, and it's take one day at a time. I mean, literally, we are not promised tomorrow, and
That's
I
big.
have to every
so
day wake
good.
up and just say, I'm so blessed to be doing this. And I'm so blessed they're the people that walk into the door today that I'm going to meet. And hopefully I make a difference in their life and they'll make a difference in mine. Always.
Yeah.
But that is so huge, even when you have a stressful day, because our job looks so. I will say in medicine, sometimes it does look like glamorous, injecting. It seems so much easier than being in the hospital. And there's a lot of pros for sure, but there are days where it's hard, and it's definitely not, it's something that you have to know, the medical side of it too, for sure. Cause there's vessels and arteries and things that you can't, dive into that. You can't, you have to know those. And you have to be skilled to know what to do. And that's if a situation happened. But when a day gets stressful, I'll tell you, it's just making sure to know that, hey, we may only have today. So let's make this day the best day we can. And I'm not going to worry about tomorrow. It's okay.
That's so wise.
It seems so, cliche. Like I feel like a lot of people say, we're not promised tomorrow, but it is so true. I mean,
when you stop and really think about it, you're like, whoa, wow.
Yes. Like I could be hard on myself one day, like, oh, I don't like how I look puffy today, or I don't like how this looks, or this outfit doesn't look good, or oh, I need to lose weight, or whatever it might be. Every client comes in with stuff like that. Patients tell me these things, and I try to make sure that they know, they're beautiful just the way they are, and also like there's other people that don't have those things. Like if I'm, some people don't have the ability to come in and get this done. Some people don't have, can't walk, they can't see, they don't have so I always tell people it's like we're blessed to have that. So let's just enhance those features, but we don't have to be as hard on ourselves because we do have a lot more that helps. I think to have that mindset, I've got some things that some people don't. And when you're getting down on yourself, you remember that. So that I have learned that over the years. And a lot of my patients have also helped teach me that too.
Wow.
So
that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I
so
know.
rich.
I know.
Thank you
It
for
is so
sharing.
important though, because
It's
people get
important.
down and
Yep.
it's
You got to understand, just life is but a dream. It's, it's but a vapor. And
I mean, but we got to just make, one day at a time. That's it.
Step by step, day by day.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you want some Botox, get it along the way.
Absolutely. I mean, it just makes it better. But also, like, if you don't want to do it, it's fine.
If you don't want to do it, that's fine too.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mess with the empathy part of your brain.
Thank you, Tim. That video that I see all over is so funny.
It's
oh my
very
gosh.
funny.
Yeah, they're like, go ahead and put it right here in that empathy.
Right here in the empathy. Right here in the empathy. No, that's funny. I love that. So how can people book a consultation with you? Like, what does that look like? Do they just call the office? Can you share a little bit about that? And maybe if somebody wants to follow you on social?
Yeah. So we actually have online booking. It's on our website. If you go to kareehays.com, KareeHays.com.
Okay.
There's online booking. We also have so sweet front desk staff who are always up there.
They're so amazing.
They're
so
amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah. And
They're
if
so
you can
sweet.
call and book an appointment, if they don't answer, text. It'll give you a prompt to text. The texting option is actually amazing.
Okay.
Sometimes people get confused on the online booking, and honestly, I love the online booking, but I really do like the text because sometimes the girls up front can find you appointments that maybe the online booking doesn't show.
Yep.
Because there's specific algorithms where it won't show certain times. So always text if you can't find a spot, and they'll always put you on a wait list if you can't get in. Always tell people plan your treatments out in advance because we do book out. But I mean, there's people that cancel, and so you get on a wait list and get in. But texting the girls up front is huge. And then I have a social media. It's NP_Sophie, SOPHIE. And so I have an Instagram page, and then Karee Hays has an Instagram page as well. So.
Yep. You guys have been doing some tea times too. Those look fun.
I know.
Been fun.
So that's So
I was like, oh my gosh, I love these different topics you guys are sharing about.
So they were trying to find. We started doing that. I think I don't remember. Maybe right before Christmas. I don't remember. But they were trying to find something that rhymed with Sophie and Taylor. So they were like sipping. No, they were like. Talks with or whatever, and it was just so funny. Sipping is for Sophie, and then tea is for Taylor.
Yes,
and so it is.
That.
I know, and it is so funny because I love it, the tea. It's
it's
great.
the tea. So y'all go follow that page too, and you
Tamela,
get to sip a little tea with Sophie and Taylor, and it's always insightful to hear what you guys are sharing.
Tamela,
and last thing about Karee, like what sets Karee Hays apart? For people who are looking to book, who's looking to come into the environment, who's looking for a med spa, maybe want to transition to a different med spa, like what sets Karee Hays apart from everybody else in Nashville?
The comprehensive treatment. So having everything in one spot. That is so huge. I think a lot of places have like little niches, which is fine, but having very talented estheticians, very talented laser techs, very talented NPs, PAs, office staff. I mean, everybody there is very talented, and everybody there's been doing it for a long time. So they don't hire new people. So I feel like that's huge because, people come in with experience. So that you're getting somebody that's very highly trained. So that's a lot of places in Nashville have that too. But I do think that whole the team part too, we all work together. And so nobody's just a one person show. And that's huge too, because we all refer. Like Kendall sends me clients all the time. I send her clients all the time. Ashley sends me clients, Vicky, Missy, everybody. We all send to each other because everybody has a certain skill set or a personality too. Some people want to be with a certain personality, and you kind of pair them up with that. But I think that's what sets us apart from everyone else is the team aspect of it. We all do work together. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
It is.
Well,
we love you, Tamela.
I love y'all. It's a fun place.
I love you so
love
much.
it. It's my I used to tell my kids, I'm going to work.
I love
to
it.
work at Karee's.
I mean, no, you need to.
I'm there to relax for a little
I
bit.
kind of,
so it's
yeah,
fun.
you need to come relax and you just need to come hang out
And
too.
come hang out.
That's
get,
what I
get
say.
some laughs with the girls.
I'm
it's
like,
always
come
fun.
hang out. I love when you come in.
I love
It's
when I
always
come in
so
too.
fun.
It's always fun. Everybody's a good time.
You're the best.
You are the best. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, anytime. You
I
can always have
appreciate
tea
it.
with me.
I would love to. Anytime, I will be here.
I always have tea with me.
You're the
And
best.
thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Tea with Tamela. Looking forward to connecting with you all soon.
Tea with Tamela. Let's laugh and spread love. Tea with Tamela. You're more than enough. Tea with Tamela. Don't ever give up. Tea with Tamela. Come and fill your cup. Tea with Tamela.